Does the government track gold purchases? The answer coming up. Look, if you're thinking about investing in precious metals, you may be just wondering how much information is actually passed on to the IRS. As with so many topics that involve the government, there's a lot of confusion about tracking gold purchases. We want to cover the facts in a straightforward manner and hopefully clear up any confusion that you may have. Specifically, how much gold can you buy without reporting? Are precious metals trackable? IRA requirements for Canadian investors, and how precious metals IRAs can help alleviate confusion. You may be surprised to learn what actually happens when it comes to this topic. While the governmental authorities may not always be notified, there are instances where a reporting requirement will be triggered. Without further ado, let's get started. Gold investments and traceability. One question many investors always ask themselves, are gold coins and bullion traceable? Put simply, no, the government cannot trace or track these purchases or sales. But this doesn't mean that there aren't any regulations or reporting obligations. There is no electronic tracking or central database when it comes to tracing the buying and selling of these prized items. And there are plenty of asset options that need no disclosure at all. You could, if you wanted to, amass quite a precious metal collection without having to ever notify the government or IRS. But in doing so, you'll want to avoid getting yourself into a situation where you find yourself non-compliant with requirements. If you're unsure if an investment that you're considering needs a disclosure, keep watching. Precious metals are attractive because they can be bought and sold quote-unquote off-grid, but it's important to remember that not all transactions have this feature. Reputable dealers can help ensure that you remain compliant, but ultimately, it's your responsibility. A quick note, always consult with your financial advisor regarding gold reporting obligations or any other money matters. Governmental reporting requirements. So, is buying gold reported to the IRS? How much do dealers disclose to the government? As mentioned above, there's no central information repository or electronic database that tracks who owns what when it comes to precious metals. That doesn't mean that there aren't any governmental obligations that gold dealers must follow. These can vary depending on the transaction. Triggers can also be activated depending on the amount of your purchase and how you pay. And not knowing the ins and outs of gold purchase reporting requirements can cause many people to avoid buying it altogether. No one wants to have to deal with a problem with the IRS or find themselves suspected of money laundering. There are so many questions about tracking and proper documentation that we've decided an entire video devoted to the topic would be helpful for our viewers. Check out our comment section below. It's open if you'd like to engage in a conversation about this topic with other viewers. The reporting requirement triggers. Now let's talk about the common events that trigger a reporting requirement. Truth is, if you walk into your local dealer and make a purchase, it may or may not need to be disclosed. And many wonder just how much you can buy without divulging the information to the government. As you are probably aware, businesses are obliged to declare any cash transaction that exceeds $10,000 or two transactions that exceed $10,000. You will need an IRS Form 1099-B for these transactions. Additionally, there are some disclosures that are based not on the cost of the purchase, but on what is actually bought. Yes, I know it's confusing. So let's dig in a little more. Trigger number 1. Amount of your purchase. If you are buying coins, you and the dealer may have to declare it to the IRS. The trigger occurs when you buy 25 or more 1-ounce gold maple leafs, 1-ounce Mexican onzas, and 1-ounce Krugerrands. Anything that involves fractional ounces, including American Gold Eagle coins, is not reportable, no matter the quantity. Trigger number 2. How much money you spend. Precious metal acquisitions are usually made with cash, money orders, or cashier's checks. If it exceeds $10,000, the dealer will be required to disclose the transaction using IRS Form 8300. Trigger number 3. Production date of the coin. Any pre-1965 coin, gold or silver, that's worth more than $10,000 will trigger a reporting requirement. For example, silver coins produced prior to 1965 are generally valued at $11,000 or more, thus requiring a disclosure. Fisher Precious Metals Company shared the following. The quantity that causes the filing of a 1099-B, however, is not clear. The IRS bases its authority to require reporting on CFTC-approved contracts that call for the delivery of $10,000 face value. Consequently, many dealers do not report sales of pre-1965 U.S. coins unless that sale totals $10,000 face value. Others report $1,000 sales. Now, most collectible coins don't trigger a declaration, making them a popular investment vehicle for folks who don't like to share the details of their financial transactions. The form that dealers must complete will contain identifying information, including their client's name, address, banking information, and other similar data. If these forms are not completed and submitted, the dealer will face fines and possibly the closure of their business. Do not try to circumvent these things, say by spacing out your acquisition over a few days, as they can trigger money laundering violations, which can be a lot more serious. CRA reporting for Canadians. Are gold sales declared to CRA? There are a fair number of Canucks who check this site, so we wanted to provide some good information about the obligations to the Canada Revenue Agency too. Naturally, the process up north differs from that in the United States. You'll need to disclose the buying or selling of any precious metals to the CRA when you file your taxes. T5008 is the form that you'll need to complete if your investment meets or exceeds a reporting threshold. This form needs to be completed by both the buyers and the sellers. Now, if you're not sure if you should include it with your annual tax return, talk to your tax advisor for further advice. There's no replacement for real-world professional financial advice when it comes to tax matters. Gold IRAs can help alleviate confusion. We totally understand if you're feeling like your head is spinning and you're very confused. There's just so many different regulations and requirements that come with purchasing gold that you might be wondering if it's even worth it. We totally get you. And we found that opting for an IRA as a vehicle to invest in precious metals is an effective way to avoid all of this confusion. As you've been probably doing your research into gold acquisition, you've probably run across the word transparency quite a lot. This is because alternative investment firms want to assure their clients that all of these requirements will be fulfilled accurately and completely. And once you find the right company to work with, rest assured they'll supply you with the information and documents needed to meet any applicable reporting requirements. To be clear, it's not about how to buy gold without the government knowing. Your investment in such an IRA won't be quote-unquote off-grid, but it will be in compliance with the law. Of course, most people who find themselves out of compliance with the IRS are simply unaware of their mistakes. Unfortunately, if there's no malice associated with your or your dealer's lack of proper reporting, it can still be a serious problem. This is a situation that most people would just like to avoid. Purchasing coins and bullion through a reputable company that also offers IRAs can help you avoid all of this confusion. There's a nice range of precious metal products that are approved by the IRS for inclusion in an individual retirement account, making this an even more attractive investment option. If you're uneasy about buying them outright, an IRA could be perfect for you. There's a lot of confusion among the potential investors on whether gold purchases are reported to the government. So let's outline the facts again. Gold coins and bullion are not traceable. There are reporting requirements for certain purchases. Consult a tax advisor before buying precious metals. Always deal with reputable companies. Opening a gold IRA can help you avoid confusion. For example, Augusta is our #1 recommended gold IRA firm. And don't hesitate to ask questions if you're confused. If you're like most people, purchasing your precious metals feels a lot more comfortable. Not only are you able to invest in the assets that actually appeal to you, but you'll also enjoy a number of tax benefits. We know that this is an area of confusion for many potential investors. Our goal here is to help clear up any confusion that you may have. Please do sound off in the comments below if there are still issues of uncertainty or questions that you might have. We're here to help. Thanks for watching.